The Morning Dump from Hurrdat Sports with Andrew Rogers and Damon Benning.
That's right. You know it's that time, Morning Dump. Hopefully you got yours in this morning. It is Friday.
It's of information.
It's
a
unloaded,
mental thing.
right?
Yes. We have a lot on
this
our
isn't
minds.
a figurative thing or a literal thing?
It's figurative.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Did you like James and the Giant Peach as a book? Were you a Roald Dahl guy? Do you know children's authors?
No.
Oh, fuck.
But I know book names, and I'm sure I read James and the Giant Peach.
It's my favorite book.
Mine was The Giving Tree. Shel Silverstein.
Yeah, Where the Sidewalk Ends.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the one about the attic? It's Shel Silverstein. It was the rhymes. They were kind of inappropriate.
I don't know.
Shane, would they still have those books in the library right now?
Cat in the Hat was always one that I was into. Arthur. What was Arthur? An aardvark?
Yeah.
I was big into
Or
Arthur.
one of those.
I'm sure those books don't disappear from the library.
Light in the Attic.
Never read that.
That's Robert
Or at least I
Louis
don't remember
Stevenson.
that.
Oh, he was the dude. Would you like to
read an excerpt for me?
Yeah. This is called The Skin Stealer. You ready?
This doesn't sound like it should be in a children's book.
This evening, I unzipped my skin. I carefully unscrewed my head. Exactly what I always do as I prepared myself for bed. And while I slept, the cuckoo came, as naked as could be. I put on the skin and screwed on the head that once belonged to me.
Yeah, deep, dark,
unfriendly.
unfriendly.
He made a living writing stuff like that. But you're the one that dropped Shel Silverstein.
Yeah, well, The Giving Tree, that's nothing like unzipping your skin. That's like, hey, let me use your wood so that I can build a house and a boat and everything.
Yeah, that sounds very Silence of the Lambs over there.
Poor little Clary, says Miggs over there.
Oh, we had a great show on Coffee and Cream
BFG.
this morning.
Read the BFG. It's Roald Dahl again.
BFG.
The Big Friendly Giant.
Mm-hmm. That's a great one.
Oh, yeah. That and James and the Giant Peach.
Were you Good Night Gorilla? Or
No.
Good Night Moon? It's a Good Night.
It's Good Night Moon.
Good Night Moon was one of my favorite, but there was another one like Good Night Gorilla. Or was that in Good Night Moon?
So for a while, in my security questions, like online, before
Don't tell
people
me
got
you did
smarter.
Children's books.
Yeah. They'd ask
No
you
way!
They'd say, what's your favorite book? And I'd say, the, capital T-H-E, caps BFG. But now I don't do that because cybersecurity is tough, man.
Well, it's good that you don't use password anymore either. So we're on the up and up with you in technology.
Well, thank you, because I'm not very smart. Thank you. Appreciate you.
And we weren't smart enough to get to Creighton right away on Coffee and Cream, or maybe we just didn't have time to, and that's why we come to Morning Dump to talk about that. Creighton men's soccer Final Four action tonight at 5. I'm really looking forward to that match.
Are you excited?
Are you excited?
It's
I'm
exciting.
I'm really excited because this is a team that's been just playing spoiler to literally everybody in the tournament. I mean, we knew what Creighton was, and we know who they are.
Do we?
Who they are? They're a team that scores a lot in the first half.
Okay. We know who you are, Creighton.
But they're also just a team that they're like the – I'm blanking on their name. It starts with a V. And Shaka used to coach for them. Who am I thinking of? In the college team. It's not Valparaiso. VCU. Thank you. Jeez, I don't know why I couldn't come to that.
Valparaiso?
Well, that's all I could think of.
My buddy's kid goes to Valparaiso.
And they are like the VCU of this year's men's soccer tournament. They are the team that just can't be beat so far. And I know that they come in every single match with the expectation to win, and that's obvious. But it's also difficult to do that against some of the best in the world and the ones that build their team to be the best, especially when it comes to recruiting. But they've been able to turn some heads.
Well, I tell you what. So it's interesting because they have the equivalent on the pitch to a bucket getter, a Steph Curry, a James Harden in his prime. Like, dunk it. The way that he's creative with the ball and can find the back of the net, it's interesting how he still gets space and room to operate for the Blue Jays. And if Syracuse wants to have a chance to stop this it's not even Cinderella-ish because I think people were lulled to sleep by all the draws that Creighton had. But it's a talented team, and they beat some good teams on this run.
Some great teams on this run.
You better figure out that not only can he score goals, but they find a way to defend as well.
And, I would almost venture to say that this match is harder for Syracuse than if it were the number 1 or number 2 team on the other side of the bracket. Because you know exactly what you're getting in that opponent. You don't know what you're getting from Creighton. How do you prep for Creighton? Creighton's been just playing the underdog story, the Cinderella story, and you don't want to fall victim to that too. Mm-hmm. It's so much harder to compete against a team that's on a run like Creighton is on right now, the unexpected team, than it is to beat the team that was supposed to be there.
No, I'm with you. So what's going to happen now? I think you like the Jays. Or are you part of that Orange Brigade? What do we got?
Well, we already took Tony White from them, so we might as well just stick it to him one more time and drive them back home.
And they have one of the most likable coaches in all of collegiate soccer. So I am Team Jays in this one with Johnny Torres.
Also on the Creighton front, the men's basketball team's looking to bounce back in Vegas, the city that never sleeps, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll take it.
Is that right?
Yeah. Eyes wide shut.
What is New York, though? I thought they were also similar to that. Or is that the city that never sleeps?
That's the original city that never sleeps.
So is it just Sin City in Vegas?
Yeah, but Vegas has kind of bought into that.
Vegas is like Motel 6. Like, they leave the light on for you.
You can't even find a clock in that place. Like,
you know
if
what?
your phone isn't working, like, don't try to look at the wall because there'll be nothing.
No.
You know what
in
Vegas is?
What is Vegas?
Because of the Raiders, it's the city that never wins.
Oh, you seem salty.
The Flower, Marc-Andre Fleury and company would love to have some speaks
just a word with you, yeah.
Well, I would love to speak with them too. You can call 888-638-4876.
Not a boy, Shane. That a boy. Way to fire that in there.
Shaner.
No, this is a great opportunity for Creighton to bounce back, though, against a BYU team that isn't all that put together. When you look at Creighton,
especially offensively, to match that firepower.
Right. You look at Creighton, and eventually they will shoot the ball better. And even in this game, I'm not saying BYU St. Thomas by any means, but if they do struggle to shoot right out of the gate, Creighton will figure it out, get some momentum, and put away the Cougars.
Yeah, well, they should.
That's at least the expectation, but I also think no matter what, they'll battle through the adversity because they know what it takes at this point.
So if you're Creighton, you've had some time off. Do you think this one was more about recalibrating the focus or getting some rest? Because we kept hearing from our listeners and on social media.
I don't know if they have their legs
that they
back,
were there.
yeah.
It was about their legs, and they were weary. And I would just make the case, when you can play 9-10 guys, I get the effort and energy level physically, but I thought it was more about managing the emotions. Because when you're the hunted and to whom much is given, much is expected, it can be a drain on you emotionally. I think that's the part that they're working their way through as much as anything is the early season expectations and how it affects you emotionally. Because sometimes it can look like a physical thing, but it's what's going on between the 6 inches and
I'm with you. They're playing with a target on their back every single night. When it comes to Creighton, I don't know if it's the legs. It could have been a little bit of, jet lag coming back from Maui, but you also look at the opponents that they matched up against. Yes, could you see them going 3 out of 3 in those matchups that they lost? Of course you could. Could you see them going 2 out of 3? Of course you could. 1 out of 3 especially. Everybody thought that's what they were supposed to do. Yet they didn't do it, so what comes next? I do believe it's not a search for identity. It's more like an appreciation for the fact that they did lose because they know that they can be vulnerable in different aspects of the game. And now early on in the season, you can put emphasis on that in practice so that you can work through those things as it goes on.
Yeah, listen, and who knows what to expect from BYU coming off the loss to Utah Valley. And so I know you're looking at it on paper and you're thinking, oh, Creighton should roll. And I don't even know what the line is. Like, what do you have any idea?
I can find
what
but
the line is today on the basketball game, because if you're Creighton, you're not – this is just me, and this is how I like to approach sports. I don't think you're playing against BYU. You're playing against what you're capable of being. And I think as a coach, you always want to tell your team, hey, listen, we aspire to be our own benchmark. And if you're Creighton, that's what you're after. You're playing against your own level of expectation as you play this one.
This line is not easy to find.
Wow. Is it hiding from you? Is it hiding
I'm
from
scrolling.
Scrolling,
I thought I would be there by the
scrolling.
time that DB finished his thought, but I
keep your
was
minds in
not.
scrolling. Rawhide. Oh, you know what? That's why it's because
Well, it's Saturday.
we're a day early.
Right, but sometimes the line is already
No,
out.
I know. I get it. But a lot of times with college basketball, it's like the night before. So maybe around 6, 7 o'clock. I thought we could find some early lines. It's on
Cougars are 5-5.
Yeah, FS1 tomorrow night. Is that 9?
It is at 9 p.m., yeah.
Everybody-
Stay up late.
everybody-
Saturday night.
Don't be that guy. Don't say. Is that our time? Because I'm only going to talk to you in our time.
Yes. It's 9 p.m. PDT.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
like I'm not doing that.
yeah.
Like, what time is it on television where we watch TV? So that's what I'm going to tell
And
you.
that's what ESPN does for us. Like they let us
Man,
know.
but have you ever
when
been
the
around
game
those people?
is.
Hey, they
Yes.
tip at 8. 8 our time?
Or 8 Eastern.
Why else do I care about where they are? I'm talking about where we are.
Yeah, and I remember, has the sun set there yet? Because if so, Creighton doesn't play well in the dark, and
So it's a lot going on tomorrow too. North Carolina's got a game that I feel like they need to win at 5-4 and to get off the schneid. So
I'll
they
tell
have
you
Georgia
what,
Tech.
that's
Purdue
going to-
is in Lincoln for a top 5 team with a chance to do some damage.
North Carolina, if they lose, or I'm sorry, not even that. North Carolina can be similarly compared to Creighton in this example. That if Creighton loses against BYU, now you're starting to think that they have a little UNC in them.
Whoa! Why are you using my team against me to make Creighton's case? But Carolina's a prime example of a team that got hot the second half of last year, kind of found lightning in a bottle. Now, they do have a lot of good players, but they need to figure out how to stay on the gas. And when you sleep, people that hunt don't. And you get ran down from behind. So Carolina's going to have to just learn how to manage expectations. A lot like I think Creighton in that regard in terms of similarities.
What'd you have, Shane?
I was just wondering if you needed me to play some music while you're looking for your.
No.
Yeah, I don't need
Rogers
any.
and Benning will be back in 4 minutes.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks there, Shane. Hey, let's transition away from Creighton here and check out some of our picks for the weekend. Like, what is your favorite bet this weekend? And if you didn't have to choose a favorite, look at the Army-Navy game, for example, because that's the college football game I will be tuning into on Saturday.
I don't know if you're a big money line guy, but I would take a look at Navy on the money line. I know it's a little juicy. I think minus 140-ish.
I thought you liked Army in this game.
On the money line, if you like Navy, ATS 2.5.
See, I almost like Army
Army
on the money line. I could see this game being.
I don't think Navy has any business being favored. So the line scares me that Army is the underdog. Although, if there's any game, and I hate this, hey, throw records out the window. If there's any game where that matters, it's this one. Because I think it will be low scoring. But I just didn't see how Navy was favored. And Vegas isn't in the habit of giving away money. My lean is Navy on the money line. If you play at ATS, you'll be sweating out 2.5, but I wouldn't take Navy at 2.5. I'd either take Navy on the money line or Army against the spread.
These are, I should say, two of the
Depending on
bigger
how juicy you like your gun.
rushing attacks in college football. They are a team. They are both of them are teams that will run, and just eat clock all game long. The game's not going to. Neither team is going to score more than 20 points in this game. I think this is going to be a 16-13 finish of some point. And you look at Navy on defense, and they're great defending the run.
One of the
They run
lower
ball.
college football totals of the season at just 32.5. I mean, that is some Iowa-Rutgers type territory,
Yeah.
which I believe closed at 34.5.
Yeah.
34.
Yeah, I think you're right when you say that.
So this may be the lowest college total of
I
the
think
season.
Army has the better quarterback.
Lavatai?
Tyler.
Oh, yeah, running. I'm thinking, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
And Tyler is that dual threat option where not only – and we know Jeff's offense, right? We know Monken's offense. And it's you know exactly what you're going to get from him. You know exactly what Navy's going to put out on the field. But it's who executes it better. And I think in this case, when you look at the general – you like that term?
Yeah.
You look at the general –
You're talking about Ty Lavatai.
the commander of this, then I would look at Army in this case. Lavatai, he's the quarterback?
Navy. He's
Yes,
Navy's quarterback.
Navy's quarterback.
You're looking at the best quarterback in the game.
Which
you
I
think
think
belongs
is
to
Army.
Army. Interesting. Is this going to be quarterback driven?
But the
You
only
think
reason
so with the triple from both teams that
right,
they
the
run,
only reason
right?
I think Army has the advantage is because when you say quarterback driven, I'm not saying airing the football out by any means.
No, I get it.
Right.
It's decision making on the triple.
Correct.
Give, keep, run, that kind of thing. I understand.
But it's going to be a fun game to watch, and I love how close that the line is right now.
I don't think Army has any business catching points. I don't. So is it fool's gold? Will it be a 1-point game? Is this a 14-13
Well, I also look at this,
kinda
too,
game?
as Army's bowl game because Army's not making a bowl game this year.
Yeah.
So the way I kind of approach this is the game that they prepare for all year.
Well, Navy's not making a bowl game. They're the 4-win team. Army is 5-6.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Navy's not making a bowl
Yeah.
game. So that actually kind of retracts what I was going
Yeah.
to say.
Ar-
this
Army's-
game,
yeah.
this is Navy's bowl game.
Army's at 5-6, so they got a chance.
So go back to my point from last week.
Well, you
Somebody
thought
that
early on when we
controls
looked
their
at
own
this
destiny.
4 or 5 days ago, didn't you like Army from the jump?
Yes, because I only ever bet Navy when they were dogs and double-digit
And you didn't like
dogs.
the fact that they were going to be the fave.
No.
They've been fantastic as a double-digit dog.
Yeah, because
And
they stop the run and they run so much.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
could not believe Vegas was giving me them at 15.5 every week.
That was one of your big plays. Was it Navy Notre Dame? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember you being all in on Navy.
I was Navy Notre Dame and then Navy UCF.
And it didn't look great early.
No.
And somehow a team that can't throw the ball is great walking through the back door. Mm-hmm. It's like
They scored 24 unanswered
Yeah.
on Notre Dame and almost won that football game.
you're like, what is going on?
Seriously, I could not believe it.
Go midshipman.
So you like Navy on the money line in this game.
I do.
I prefer Army. We'll see how that ends up and shakes out. But again, these teams, even though Army's on the verge of making a bowl game, this is their bowl game because as much as they have respect for each other because they are in one army together, one mission together, one military, right? They still have their competitive edges when it comes to branches, and they want to be the one that takes home bragging rights at the end of the day.
In complete agreement with you. The other game that I like is in the NFL. And listen, I get it. The Giants are dangerous. They're at home, so they always have a chance. But give me the Eagles.
-7?
6.5, 7. I'll take the Eagles, and I'll give you all 7 of those.
You know what's
in
crazy
Philadelphia.
too? You said 6.5, 7, and if it's 6.5, by all means, hammer that.
Even if it's you can
But
play it,
7 is -115, so that is still technically the favorite when it comes to ATS.
I'd take it up to 9. It won't get there, but the Eagles, they know what's on the horizon. And listen, I love Dable. I think he should be in the conversation for NFL Coach of the Year. Now there's still a third of the season to play, so it's like or quarter of the season to play. So you're thinking, but to have the Giants at 7-4-1, given what they've been through with injuries, he belongs in the discussion, especially as down as people were on Danny Dimes and that bunch. So Defensively, they've been fantastic. We've talked about it. They've got the most underappreciated nose guard in football. That defense has quietly played pretty well. But I say all that to say, give me the Eagles minus the 7.
I am paying close attention to the Lions-Vikings on Saturday.
Weird line.
And it actually dropped from -2 to -1.5 in favor of the Lions.
And remember, Minnesota opened as the fave. The Lions were now bet into the favorite. So the public likes the Lions. I think they think good offense, plenty of weapons. Minnesota's shaky. Lions are trending in the right direction.
What are they, 5 out of 6?
And it's been bet into the line. It says the resident closet Lions fan over there. He's
I'll
the
tell you
Raiders
what.
Lions guy.
I'll tell you what. I just went onto a same game parlay and put together 4 of the bigger names that I think will end up in the end zone this week.
Oh boy, here we go.
Which is Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson,
Okay.
and Jamal Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Here's why I would not bet it. Because I just threw 4 names in there, 4 touchdowns. Like, the rarity of getting all 4 of those right, slim to none. It's only plus 950 for 4 guys to score.
Is that low?
That's low when you put together 4 touchdowns.
So what should it be? Probably plus
2,000.
14, 1,500. Oh,
yeah,
higher
like
than
if,
that.
If you get to like a plus 2,000, if I were to remove, say, Jefferson and throw in Hawkinson, who's plus 210, you just went up to plus 1,600.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is juicier to go after, but I'm not overly – it's a revenge game for Hawkinson, so I may even throw money on him just because why not? That's
What do you
kinda-
think he says? Hey, coach, get me one?
Yep, coach, get me one. And that's how it works, right, in football. As long as you say that, it will, at least in
Hey,
DeAndre
Kirk,
Hopkins'
Kirk,
case,
and
that's
all
what
your
it is.
jewelry and change. Get me one. We
Yeah.
good, Kirk?
Mm-hmm.
He's the old guys.
Yeah, he's
Big
like,
Dan
I
Campbell
got
guy,
you,
but get-
baby. I got you.
All right, you just get close to the end zone.
Yeah.
And I will throw it clearly over your head.
But even plus 1,600, like, that to me is like, ugh. Because I've bet on 4 touchdowns before, and I remember last year
I
a
think you're
buddy of
crazy, by
mine
the way, but
put
that's
4
okay.
touchdowns in a game, got it right. I couldn't believe he got it right. He put Cole Beasley. He put no, because Cole Beasley was playing for the Bills. He did it twice. He did Cole Beasley and Diggs, and then it was Tannehill and we'll just say A.J. Brown, just for
So you're taking Jefferson?
As the best wide receiver in the league? No, maybe.
yes. But he was
Justin.
plus 4,000.
I was taking Darnell.
Devontae,
I was taking
Tyreek.
Darnell.
He was plus 4,000, but 25 on it to win a G.
And probably one, right?
He did. He hit.
Is
it's
that the
crazy.
same guy that
Same guy.
showed me that got paid
Same
out
guy.
on the couple weeks ago?
Same guy. Luckiest sports better around. Luckiest sports better
He
around.
gets paid.
My college roommate, my best friend.
Unbelievable.
That's why you hang out with him.
So there
no,
you go.
well, I'll tell you what. I don't get any of that. I don't get any of it.
You get some of the good love karma?
No,
None of that?
I feel like all my good luck goes to him, but that's beside the point.
So it's not a relatively juicy card, but I like Navy on the money line, and I like the Eagles.
Okay, there you have it.
How
DB was successful last week, very much so.
4-0.
And I prefer Army on the money line, and I would even mess around.
You want that good plus money. Wouldn't you take the 2.5 and be safe, or you want to be greedy and get the good plus money?
I would take the 2.5 and the money line.
Okay.
So I'm going to do both to kind of hedge myself.
Yeah.
But the reason I don't want to go away from the money line is because it's such a close line, and I feel Army has the advantage.
This has 17-16 written all over it.
I had 16-13. So
17-16 Navy for you.
So you
folks
like the
playing.
over?
Barely.
Oh, you like the over.
not enough to spend your hard-earned money on it, though.
Hey, we enjoyed being with you all week long. Thanks for joining us here on Morning Dump. Of course, the extension of Coffee and Cream in the Morning on Hail Varsity Radio. You can go back, listen to that podcast. That's Hail Varsity Radio, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, and then you find Morning Dump on Hurrdat Sports. That's paired under the umbrella with Benning Bites in the morning. You have Sports Six-Pack in the afternoon. You can toss DB a follow on Twitter. That's at Damon Benning. You can follow me at Andrew Rogers TV. If you want to follow the show, that's at H Varsity Radio. Soon. Remember, DB? Soon. And we'll follow that up with, you can follow Hurrdat Sports at Hurrdat Sports. Thanks for joining us.
Can I ask you guys a quick question?
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's your show.
Do you
Shane.
ever think that this Army game will ever be that they'll ever try and have another football game at the same time?
No, I think just the pageantry, man. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're all in. I mean, I just know TV.
I'd say no, too.
Always looks at like the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but I
and
think
they
it's
try to add
It's
more.
Heisman, Army, Navy, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
because
they should never go past that.
Well, because you're not going to see an expansion on college football seasons. If so, you're going to start earlier rather than go later.
I'm inclined to agree.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be that for the rest of time, but who knows? I've been wrong before. I could be wrong again. With that, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.